how many properties should I view before I actually making an offer? Wow, that is a mouthful question. That question there, it's kind of like, how many people do I need to date before I get married? Yeah, I think that is the closest. That is the closest. So let's start. Boom, welcome. It's it, you can see that my mind is going to, but let me start off again and say, how many properties do you need to view before you buy? Right. The first question that we need to be asking ourselves is, what are we buying the property for? What are we buying the property for? Right? We have taken an assumption that now all of our figures, or should I say our financials, are in shape, and we know exactly how much we qualify for. So that's the first thing that we need to be doing. So we have that, and now we know that we qualify for 1 million. You always hear me talking about the 1 million. You always hear me talking about earning 50,000. I think that's kind of like an average. I've looked in South Africa; those are kind of like average numbers for us. So if you're earning a little bit more, that's okay. If you're earning less, that's okay. But use those numbers that I'm giving out as just a benchmark, right? So the question, how many properties should I view before I buy? Well, let's go on. The thing is that once you now know how much you qualify, you know that you can qualify for 1 million. Back in the days, we used to have what is called pre-qualification. So the bank will give you a letter to say, yes, we qualify you, we pre-qualify you for 1 million. These days, it doesn't happen. However, you can work with your bond originator, and your bond originator can already give you an indication of how much. So it's just as good as your pre-qualification as well. But it's only, the thing is that it's just not just recognized as the legitimate thing, right? It's not like valid as it was back in the days that we could literally take it and then plonk it into the bank. Now that we know that we qualify for that much. That's the secret now. Now we go in to say, okay, how many are we going to view? First thing first is, why are we buying the property? Why are we buying the property? That's the question that we need to be buying. At M5 Property Addict, we are always buying for investments alongside all of our partner investors. So we're always looking at the opportunity of the property. We're always looking for the opportunity on the property. What do I mean? What else can we do with the property besides what is being presented to us? Okay, so the estate agent or the owner might be selling their house, but there could be other opportunities that are there. So that's the first house that you're going to be seeing. Hey, but what if you are seeing 2 houses per weekend? It basically means that within your first week, you have 2 options to choose from with your 1 million. And by the way, you could potentially be qualifying for 1 million, but if the bank might just say, hey, we can give you 2 million, dependent on the opportunity of the house. So all of a sudden, if you are in a position to actually go and view 2 properties in 1 weekend, and you put in an offer on both of them, the bank might say, hey, we're going to give you 1 million on the other, and the other one we're going to give you 800. So potentially now you just have to close the other one on 200,000, and boom, you've got 2 houses. Okay, so that's a scenario. That's the first scenario that I've just given you. You have extended how many properties you are viewing, and you're using your power, your buying power that you have. But the question that we are wanting to ask is, how many properties should I view before buying? In this scenario, what we have just showed here is that if we are to view a little bit more than what you have, and both of them are good, you can potentially buy both of them, right? So let's go back to the question that I asked. Why are you buying? If you're buying for investments, so obviously, who doesn't want to have their portfolio grow faster? We all want that, isn't it? That's the right question. But there's a right way and the wrong way to do it. If you grow a little bit faster, you choke, right? But if you grow at a steady pace, then obviously you will be able to get more. I'll give you an example. When I started off, when I was a newbie, and by the way, I'm still a newbie as well, but I'm just a grown-up newbie, right? When I started off, I remember back in the days, what used to happen is I would view at least 9 properties in a week. 9 properties in a week. Why was I viewing 9 properties in a week? Okay, this is my madness to it. This is Taurai's theory, ne? Taurai's theory. What I would do is that when I was going to work Monday morning, right, today, right, what I would do is that by lunchtime, I have one property that I've gone online and I said, I'm wanting to view this property, and that's my property for tomorrow, okay? I would repeat the same thing all the way to Friday, so which means that I've got 4 properties to view over the weekend, right? Or potentially I have 4 properties to view within the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Make sense? Okay. Then on Saturday, I used to work from 9 o'clock all the way to 3 o'clock. And I would try to put in there at least 5 properties that I can view. So which means that I am working from Monday all the way to Saturday, but I am viewing around about 9 properties. My aim was to do 10. My aim was to do 10 because I know that by the end of the week, I've got these 10 and I can then be able actually to select the cream. We all want the cream. Who doesn't want the best? We all want the best. So I've just given you my system that I utilized, and that's the system that got me to be investor of the year because I was buying more properties. I'm still buying right now. These days I kind of like buy 2 in a week, that kind of thing. But obviously with COVID, things have slowed down. Right now, I've got about 4 to 5 properties in the pipeline, all with offer to purchases. Why? Because I was able to view all of them when Corona or when the lockdown opened up. So let's go back. How many properties do you need to view? Why are you buying it? It's for investment purposes. So if you are buying for investment properties, explore, explore, explore. So I said my recipe was round about I need to do 9. Can you double it up? Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and the husband is the one that's working. Maybe you're a stay-at-home dad and your wife is the one that's working. So which means that you have more time on your hands. So you can literally double up that number. But why are you wanting to view as many as you can? That's the secret. The secret is that the more you view, number one, the more you view, right? Number one, you are going to see opportunities that you didn't know of, right? You're going to see opportunities that you didn't know of, right? Bearing in mind, we are people, guys, right? We are only, our mind and what we see is only, and what we know is only within the surrounding of what we know. So we don't know what we don't know, right? We don't know that out there there's properties for 160,000. I bought a property like that. We don't know out there that there's properties for maybe 500,000, right? That you can buy with your 1 million. We don't know. How best do you know? By going out there and explore and explore and explore. So is my 9 the right number? Actually, potentially, you could maybe double, triple it up. The more you triple up or the more you are viewing, the more your chances are to getting good properties on your lap. Okay, TJ, I can't go in. Why? My estate agent said to me, if I get to C4 or 5, then, she doesn't want to take me to any other properties. Yeah, that's her. That's her. If your estate agent is telling you that, it means that she does not have you in mind. It means that she's not part of your power team, right? And it also means that potentially you haven't had the time to explain what you do to your estate agent. By the way, I don't work with one estate agent. I work with many estate agents, right? So with that, I always have options of picking. I always have options of picking because there is properties that are always available for me to cherry pick. What does it mean, cherry pick? The ones that are nice, yeah? Nice, yes, yeah. Then I take those ones, right? And I can still come back again to the same pool I've picked up, I've cherry picked, and then I can cherry pick again. I can cherry pick again. So all the times I'm having properties that are coming in into the pool. Now, we said we are buying for investment. The second thing that we are wanting to talk about is that, well, the second thing that we explored is that whilst you are viewing, you are also learning. you're learning of the other opportunities that are available. So you're stumbling upon them. It's not what you were intending to do. You do know that you're wanting to do for investments. You do know your strategy. Your strategy is, let's say, buy to let, like I do, for cash flowing purposes. Yes, cash flow, baby. And you do know that. So with those two pillars, you then want to say, okay, fine, in these areas, I am happy to buy in these areas. And I've done another video where I've done to say, look, which areas are best to buy, and I've given a guideline of how you can do it there. So you can check it out on here as well. Right, if this is adding some value to you, ask some questions there. If it's not, give some comments there as well. Same thing, right? So let's go on now to talk about, as you are viewing your learning, potentially your appetite is going to be changed given on what is happening in the market. Potentially your appetite is going to be changed given what is happening in the market. When you started off, so this is kind of like for the newbies, when you are starting off, obviously you have your own thinking of what property investments is all about. You have your own thinking of what is property investments. Now, the more you're going out there, you're seeing other opportunities, and your estate agent who is taking you to these places is now showing you, oh, there's a block of flats for 1 million. You're like, really? Oh, I can own like 5 units in a block of flat. I didn't know that, right? So already now there's an opportunity. How do I buy that? Now you start asking yourself new questions, and you start having new life's problems. I like new life's problems, especially the good ones, all right? Then thereafter, we now saying to say, okay, fine. We know why we are buying. It's for investment purposes. We know how much we're qualifying for, right? And we also know, right, that we're buying for investments, and we know it's buy to lets, and we know that in a particular area that we are comfortable with. And then, boom, we are using Taurai's theory. Taurai's theory is 9 per week. If you can do more, great. Why am I doing more? It's because you can be able to cherry pick. The more you're out there, the more you see. Now, let me tell you something else. This is like the best secret ever now, right? In this one here, it's actually demonstrated with another property that I bought back in the days, right? Actually, not back in the days, like a year and a half ago. Yeah, it sounds like too far ago. No, it's not, like a year and a half ago. Yeah. What happened was that, right, I went to view this particular property, like it's now maybe about 3 years ago. The first time round, it was with an estate agent. I viewed the property and it went onto my pool. So you always want to have a pool. Hey TJ, where can I get the pool? The more you are seeing these properties, the more you keep them. What do? Back in the days, I used to have a whiteboard, right? Well, I don't use a whiteboard these days. I'm a little bit clever. I now use an Excel spreadsheet. So I've got an Excel spreadsheet and I can play it around. On my Excel spreadsheet, guess what? I have a date when I went to view it. I have a date of the property, address. I have the estate agent whom I went to view it. I have my comments in terms of what did how did I view, like, you know, how did I feel when I was there, right? And then on the next row, I've got maybe the link, right? And on the next one, maybe I've got some pictures that I took when I was there, and I saved those pictures maybe on Google, something like that, right? Or a video, maybe something like that, right? And then I have on the next row, I've got an offer that I think is the right offer, and I've got on the next row an offer that I gave, right? So let's assume that the offer that I wanted to give was 500,000. That's my deal-making offer. But then I gave 400, but it was declined, right? So I left it there. So I'm like, I walked away, right? Now, this particular property that I've just explained here, it sits on my database. I'm going to watch another property. So per week, I am adding in 9 properties. Per week, I am adding in 9 properties. By the time the month comes to an end, how many properties do I have? 4 times 9. Yeah, that's the number there, right? 4 times 9. So those are the number of properties that I now have. I've gone to view them. I've put in offers. Maybe I have I don't know, maybe 30 estate agents that I've worked with, or potentially even one, right? So all of this, I'm hoping that this is making sense. If it's making sense, just drop in some comments there if it's making sense. Then out of that, this is the pool that I was talking about. Remember, I spoke about the pool, right? So you've got a pool. In this pool now, what I actually did was that at one time, I had a property that I had there. And after around about 4-6 months, I think it was maybe 8, I went back to my pool. So on Excel, you gotta know how to work with Excel. On Excel, I toggled to see all the properties that I had viewed like 7, 8, 9 months ago. And then I started calling the estate agents to see whether these properties were still available. Yes, I put in another column, I put in yes, 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 right? And if they're still available, I was like, oh, okay. If they're still available, I can still put in my offer. So I sent to the estate agent, I said, well, my offer still stands, right? Can I put it again? And then they said, well, no, on this particular property, they said no, because what has happened is that, I'm not just comfortable to work with them anymore. So if you want, you can go on your own. I was like, yo, what kind of an estate agent is this one? But anyway, let me go and test. So in that case, I had put in an offer of 1.2 million. This property here was got a rental income of around about 28,000, I think it was at the time. We have juiced it up. We're now getting like a rental income of around about 30, 35 on it right now. But anyways, so I go into the property directly to the, there was a caretaker who was staying there. So I go to the caretaker, and this was a brother that when I went to view the property twice. Why did I go and see the property twice? The first time I was on my own, the second time I was with my builder. So the second time when I went there, my estate agent said to me they were not able to come with me, but they gave me the caretaker's number. So I had the caretaker's number. I got there and I asked the caretaker, I drove to the place. This is like 70 km from where I stay. Dedication to your cause. 70 km out of where I stay. And I went there and I said, brah, I know that the property was being sold, but unfortunately I understand that your estate agent is no longer selling. I don't know, is your landlord still willing to sell? And he said, let me call him and find out. He called and he gave me the number of his landlord. The landlord actually was staying out of the country. And they said to me, yes, if you give us 850, you will get the property. Boom! Whoa, hold on. Like I was out of my skin. Because this property here was advertised for around about 1.4. And I put in a 1.2 offer and they declined it. But this time round, the owner of the property was willing to give me the property for 850. Let me tell you, at that particular time, do you put in the offer at that time? Oh, dead, yes. So I put in the offer at that particular time and I said, how can I send it through to you? By the time the day had come to an end, we had closed it. I knew very well the bank was going to give me the money because remember, what did I say? We make an assumption that you've got the money already. So you do the homework in steps. What I'm talking about is about steps, right? So you get ready. It's like going into the loo. You don't just go into the loo without checking whether there's tissue, right? You go into the loo, you check there's tissue, and then you do your business. You don't go in and you sit and then you're like, oh, there's no tissue. And you are alone in the house. Or potentially you are with the in-laws in the house. Oh, it's a problem. Right. But anyways, this is where we are now, right? I get now to have the 850 and I'm like, I'm going to close this. Now, this, remember I told you, this is the secret, right? On my spreadsheet, all I've done, my spreadsheet sits on Google somewhere, right? Hey, Google Docs is amazing. Learn how to use it. It's amazing. I never used to like to use it, but now I do. You can share it with everyone in your team if you do have a team and that kind of thing. But anyway, let me not digress around with Google. But the thing here is that you now have this list that you are cooking all the time. You're adding in 9, you're adding in 9, you're adding in 9 all the time if you're dedicated to your cause. Now, at the end now is that when you revisit those ones that have been on the market for about a year or 2 years, like for instance, now I still have properties that I'm looking at that I viewed like 2-3 years ago, right? Of course, those that I still have interest in. But what happens is that as you start growing and growing, the smaller properties that you kind of like used to like when you were coming into the game, you don't like them anymore because the value is maybe less. Your return on your investments is maybe less because you're seeing more, right? But the point is that you got this pot that you are cooking, right? And you're consistently cherry picking what is good, what is good, what is good. So obviously, when you are viewing, number one, when you're viewing, you got to be doing your numbers all the time. When you're viewing, you're taking your builder with. When you're viewing, you're taking your builder with, right? The other person that I have great advocates of, but there are not so many people like that. In Johannesburg, we are privileged. I know two people like those ones that I utilize their company. House inspectors in Cape Town, I've also bumped in with one or two. So, for instance, there's a lady called Marisha here that we utilize. She does all of our inspections. So I go in, and obviously, yes, there's a fee to it, but it's an investment that you're doing, right? It's an investment on how to understand the property that you're buying. But if you've got someone else who's very close by, who's a builder, they might be able to identify some of these issues for you, and especially if they have an interest on what you are doing, right? Now, let's go back to our list. You are working the list. Now, let's assume, remember what question we are asking here that we are answering. How many properties should I view before I buy? Right. That's the question that we're trying to answer here. So if you have to go back now to, let's say you are in a month, how many properties have you viewed at this time? You are in it for 2 months. How many properties have you viewed? You are going to view as many properties that you can within your schedule, the ones that allow you within a schedule, until you get the property that you are looking for. I hope that has made sense. It is I, TJ, Taurai Jack, and I think this answer here, like I said in the beginning, it's about how many people can I date before I get married, right? For some people, it is gazillion people. For some people, it is just that one, right? So I know some people who have bought properties. They went in, they saw it, they knew exactly what they wanted, and it was boom, exactly what they were looking for. And they haven't bought something else in about a year or 2 years. And again, when they went out, they saw something else that they liked. Again, is it luck? I don't know. Do they work with the right estate agent? I don't know. But my philosophy, Taurai's theories, is, I think we need to start Taurai's theories, ne? I think so too. So Taurai's theory is 9 per week, at least 9 per week. And then thereafter, you can make that machine work. Making sense? I think it is. Hey, it's been great to hang out with you on Random Monday. I'm hoping that it is been of value. Like I did say, I apologized up in front in terms of time, but this is it. I'm hoping that this has been of great value. If you are here, we also have an M5 Property Addicts YouTube, where all of these videos that you're seeing in here, they're all there on our YouTube. Go there and subscribe. That's number one. And then number two, if you haven't joined M5 Property Varsity, M5 Property Varsity is available. You get to watch more educational information like this in depth. You get to also have coaches and mentors at a discounted rate, like 90%. And you also get to have tools and templates that you can utilize on your journey. And we have kind of like documented everything that I've been doing together with my team, everything that has gotten us to be winning some awards, to be writing books, to be buying, from when we started off a 2-bed 1-bath, all the way to be buying blocks like what we're doing now. And M5 Varsity is just for people who are serious to becoming successful in their journey. And if you're one of those people that are serious, you need to visit www.m5propertyvarsity. The link is in here. You can need to drop on it, click on it, it takes you to the varsity. Register there. It's only 297. You can't even take out your whole entire family for 297. And per month, you could be making your way to success. It is I, TJ. We'll talk to you about later. God bless. Cheers.